Hi, my name is Daniel. Today I'll show you how to upgrade when you have standby databases. But first, let me show you how the concept works. This is a typical setup with a primary and a standby database. And both of them are running on the old Oracle Home. First, you install the new Oracle Home. I recommend that you go to database 19C and that you always install the latest release update in both of the homes before you do the database upgrade. Then you stop redo apply from the primary to the standby database, and you shut down the standby database. Next, you restart the primary database in the new Oracle Home, and you can upgrade the database using whatever method you prefer. I would recommend auto upgrade, but use the tool that you are most comfortable with. Then you restart the standby database in the new Oracle Home in mount mode. And you can re-enable redo apply from the primary database to the standby database. Now the standby database is implicitly upgraded via the redo that comes from the primary database. But let's see how it works in real life. I have a database called prod with two instances, prod1 and prod2, running on BM1 and BM2 respectively. I'm logged on to the primary database host. I start the DataGuard CLI and log on to the primary database. First, I have to disable fast start failover. And then I can disable the entire DataGuard configuration. Next, I start SQL Plus and connect to the primary database. And then I can stop the broker by setting ggbrokers start to false. Next, I'll query $parameter to find the location of the DataGuard broker configuration files. I generate commands so I can copy them to a safe location. And I use ls to verify it. Now I connect to the standby database. And also there I have to stop the DataGuard broker. Again, I use $parameter to find the location of the DataGuard broker configuration files, and I copy them to a safe location. Then I head back to the primary database. I verify the archive destination and find the one that points to my standby database. Now I defer log transport. Redo logs are no longer shipped to my standby database. And then on the standby database, I can stop redo apply. There is no longer a connection between the primary and the standby database. The primary is not shipping redo logs and the standby is not applying them either. I can then stop the standby database and disable the service. Now you upgrade the primary database. Use whatever method you prefer. And now after the upgrade, it's time to re-enable redo transport to get the standby database in sync. I start by updating Listener Aura. It has information about the Oracle Home in which the standby database is running. I update it to the new 19C Oracle Home, and then I reload the listener. I'm still on the standby database host, but now connected as Oracle. And I set the environment. I also export the old Oracle Home so I can use it as a reference. I copy TNS names and SQLnet.aura from the old to the new home, and I also copy the password file and the SP file. I now use srvctl to upgrade the database. This tells Clusterware that the database is now running in the new Oracle Home. Then I modify the database to ensure that it starts in mount mode. I can then re-enable the database and finally start it. I go back to the primary database and I have to restart redo transport from primary to the standby database, and I do that by setting log archive desk state to enable. I can then go back to the standby database where I can re-enable redo apply. Now logs are being shipped to the standby and applied. After a little while, when the standby database catches up, it'll be implicitly upgraded via the redo that comes from the primary database. Finally, we can re-enable DataGuard Broker and verify that everything works. I'm connected to the primary database. I copy the broker configuration files into the new Oracle Home. And then I restart DataGuard Broker by setting ggBroker start to true. And I do the same on the standby database. I set the environment, copy the broker configuration files to the new Oracle Home, connects to the database, and restarts the broker. Now back on the primary database, I connect to the primary database using DataGuard CLI. I verify the configuration and it's still disabled. Remember that we disabled it before the upgrade. I can re-enable the configuration and I can show the configuration again, and now the configuration status has changed to success. I show the details of prod 1, the primary database, and it's shipping redo to the standby database. I also verify the details of the standby database. I can see that redo apply is on and everything is working as intended. Now, just to test that everything works, I perform a regular switchover. The switchover completes, no problems, the database has been upgraded and the standby database still works. Thanks for watching and happy upgrading.